The big story tonight is more winter weather. We saw some sleet and a bit of snow tonight. Now we're wondering how this is going to impact the road as we move into the overnight hours.
There are some closures and delays coming in for tomorrow morning. They're scrolling there at the bottom of your screen, and we are constantly updating that list.
And we're on your side tonight with team coverage. Jason Marks is live driving around the peninsula. Aaron Kelly's in Norfolk.
But let's start with Chief Meteorologist Don Slater. So, Don, what can we expect as we head into the morning?
Well, one thing we will not expect is any more snowfall to speak of through most of the region. Might see a little bit of snow going on across the Outer Banks, but that's basically coming to an end. It's mostly ended into Virginia. One thin little band of snow extends from about the Melfa area on toward Matthews County, and that's about it as far as any snowfall into Virginia. You can see it across the eastern shore, and it's over Nancock, Hopeton, Accomack. So again, Accomack County right now down to Crocketttown, and across the water on just to the very, very edge of Matthews County. So there's nothing big going on as far as snowfall into Virginia. Out over Back Bay, perhaps into Knott's Island, a tiny bit of snow going on here toward Corey's and right on southwestward through into Camden County and toward the Elizabeth City area. Some very, very light snow. This has been at times mixed with some sleet, and we all had a little bit of sleet in Virginia for a time, and I really kind of covered the cars pretty rapidly, and the patios and anything that's just standing outside, but didn't really cover the streets all that much. So I think we're okay in that regard. We're not likely to see the snow really affect the streets all that much. It didn't really stick onto the streets, but the streets are wet, and as temperatures drop on down, a little concerned about things really refreezing overnight as temperatures drop down. One saving grace is that we've got a bit of a breeze into the region. That tends to dry the roads out once this precipitation is coming to an end. Well, we've got temperatures right now around 28, 29, 30, 32, 34 degrees in a couple of spots, but we're going to drop into the upper teens and low 20s by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So it's awfully wet out now through 2 o'clock or about midnight. Snow is mostly done in Virginia. It's mostly rain in North Carolina, and that's going to come to an end in the next hour. Temperature dropped to near 20 by dawn, and that is the problem, especially in residential neighborhoods. I expect that the secondary roads might be in pretty good shape, but the neighborhoods might be icy. We'll talk more about the temperature drop, what it's going to be like tomorrow, and some improvement. I'll have that for you in the forecast in a few minutes.
Well, tonight, nearly a dozen drivers in Norfolk were reminded of just how damaging the winter weather can be on our roads and our cars.
A big pothole on Hampton Boulevard that stopped drivers in their tracks, and Aaron Kelly talked to some of the people forced to change tires and wait for help on one nasty night. She is live now with the latest. Aaron?
Yeah, a really tough night for them. When we first drove down here, we saw a police car stop behind the pothole with flashing lights. Now you can see there are barrels out there warning drivers. And just a heads up, tomorrow coming down Hampton Boulevard, a very busy part of our morning commute. This could be causing some backups in the morning. Now, we did talk to some people earlier who were pulled over in two separate parking lots, who lost tires, hubcaps, and time that they would probably rather spend somewhere else tonight.
I saw what I thought was a puddle because on the right side of Hampton Boulevard coming up here, it's always puddles and stuff.
It wasn't a puddle, and it wasn't snow or freezing rain that sidelined drivers on Hampton Boulevard.
It was definitely pretty scary. The phone, my girlfriend was texting on her phone, it flew up and hit her in the face. So just pretty bad stuff.
Barrels now block the problem in the road that cars weren't able to miss.
It turned out to be a huge pothole. Pretty much the side of the road is like disintegrated right there. Popped my tire, messed up my front end.
I couldn't see it, but the way I hit it, I mean, it is pretty big. But as soon as I pulled in, there were about 5 other cars, right? We were just pulling each other, right behind one another.
Billy Mann was supposed to give radio commentary for the ODU basketball game. His flat tire caused him to miss his first tip-off since 1995.
We just talked to each other. We knew what it was. Did you hit it? Yeah, I hit it. I'm going to call the tow company and I'm going to get home and watch the game, hopefully, on television.
In all, we saw nearly a dozen cars with flat tires or missing hubcaps off Hampton Boulevard. Norfolk police were there taking reports from drivers.
Kind of took me by surprise. I thought that all this was done with.
And we don't really know when this pothole formed, when the city knew about it. The offices are closed right now. We're going to check it in the morning. But we did get to talk to a city spokeswoman who told us that people who had damage from this pothole will be able to go online and file a claim or call the city attorney's office. One of the problems, though, is that you can't actually, according to the city spokeswoman, patch a pothole properly until the temperatures reach above 40 degrees for a few days. So temperatures are pretty cold right now. It's not clear when this is going to get fixed. We're, of course, going to be following up on this tomorrow morning when offices open at 10 a.m. For now, we're live in Norfolk tonight. Erin Kelly, 10 on your side.
As temperatures go up, we're going to see more potholes throughout the area. Our team coverage continues on the road. We've been seeing some snow out there.
But for the most part, it's not too bad. 10 on your side's Jason Marks is live on the peninsula now. So, Jason, what are you seeing at this point?
Nicole, as you mentioned, not bad at all. Let me tell you what we have set up here. We have a camera inside facing me. We also have another camera facing outside as photographer Ferlin Webster Jr. continues to drive me around. Let's show you this outside camera and show you what things look like here on Jefferson Avenue in Newport News. And as you can see, it looks really good. We don't see the puddles like we've seen in other places. The road doesn't seem too wet. Looks great. So that's a really good sign. Now, let me show you some video that we shot a little earlier because we did see our share of sleet and snow. This is from Yorktown. This was taken around 8:15, and then you could see it started to, we had a little sleet for a little while, and then you could see it really developed into snow. Now, it snowed for about 10 minutes, and then it was gone, just like that, poof. We did see some cars, though, driving past us that had a very thin layer of sleet and snow on it. But it's not really sticking to the streets, as you can see. Let's go back to this camera again on the roads. And I can tell you that VDOT and Public Works crews, I've seen them all night, either parked at the side of the road or driving around. I'm told that throughout the night, these crews will be looking for slick spots, and of course if they come across one of those slick spots, then they'll go ahead and start treating those. But they don't really have much work to do right now because the roads are pretty good. One thing to remember really, if you are getting up here in the next couple hours and going to work, some of the roads do have some puddling, and so if the temperature starts to drop, there's that chance for black ice. So something to be just aware of if you're leaving here to go to work, and right now or in the next couple hours throughout the overnight hours. Just something to keep in mind. But really right now the roads look good. Obviously, with the temperatures dropping, there's always that chance for some black ice mixed in. That's the latest here in Newport News. Jason Marks, 10 on your side.
While we're talking about the roads, the numbers are out, and state police had quite a busy afternoon. Between noon and 4 o'clock, 1,155 calls came into dispatch. Across the state, troopers responded to 491 traffic crashes, 222 disabled vehicles. We're told no one was hurt in the majority of those calls. Now, our area only saw a fraction, 10 crashes, 12 disabled vehicles, 69 calls in all.